welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we're going to talk about none other than mysterious Alpha-1. Yes, Alpha-1, I say Alpha-1. We've known Alpha-5 since the beginning of Power Rangers in 1993 and 6 and 7 of Alpha Generation, and we'll probably see more as time goes on as we go back throughout the lineage of that hero. But now we're talking about the very first one. Who was he? Where did he come from? And how does he know Zordon? Well, it's pretty easy. We're going to answer that really quickly and what their connection is to Zordon as we go on. Alpha-1 was commissioned by the people of Edenalion. I pronounced that very wrong, but I don't know how else to pronounce it. By the order of King Lexion, to assist Zordon in his war against the forces of evil. A war that would go on for a long, long time, 10,000 years plus. Now we know that 10,000 years ago that Zordon was fighting Rita, but we also know that Zordon was fighting the force of evil way before then. It's just his main war that he was winning and losing against was against Rita 10,000 years ago. Now Alpha-1 would prove invaluable asset to him, facing many monsters and destroying him. Now this is before the Power Rangers were even brought up and made. During one combat mission on the moon of Prillian 12, Alpha-1 was badly damaged in an ambush and nearly went offline. Zordon lost the signal and assumed he was dead. Now, he believed him completely destroyed, and so he tried to find new ways to fight off the force of evil, creating the Power Rangers as a result. Now, they had access to the morphing grid beforehand, as being Zordon Eltar, the Great Sage, but he did not access them in the same way as himself. Now, he had his own little armor suit, but he was making actual soldiers in this regard now. So what actually happened with Alpha-1, he was not destroyed, he just went offline. He was rescued by a ship that was just scavenging the area, repaired himself upon reactivation, and spent a millennia trying to find Zordon, not realizing that Zordon had been basically stuck in a comatose-like state in a perpetual time warp. Now, so he would eventually find Zordon on Earth in the 21st century, but would not immediately step in. And this would be in the Go-Go Power Rangers of Boom series. So if you're trying to find episodes of this, it's not happening, it's only in the comics. So basically at first he just observes and going, what the heck's Zordon's plan here? What's going on? Why is he sending these teenagers there? So he observes the Power Rangers in various ways and becomes aware of them. Basically goes, how can I help them without actually interfering currently? Let me go test their boundaries. He basically works from the shadows, covering the absences of Jason and Trini, as well as a few other things. Well, by covering their absences, basically he was there. Hey, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're not there. He'd hack the system. He would go basically do their homework for them via the Angel Grove High School, because he knew, hey, these guys can't do everything, they can't save the world and go to school without people starting to ask questions. So he basically, in many ways, does the right thing and calls anyone who suspects something and poses as them to reassure the person is fine. So basically he's just managing their lives for them while they are focused on dealing and saving the world. Very impressive. You don't see that in any other Alpha so far, and any other hero besides I think later generations. Basically they have their friends back up each other, and like the mentors who are not Zordon will basically go, oh yeah, they're busy, they ran that way. So really that's it. Now he would later appear in person in the Angel Grove Museum of Natural History, saving Trini and assisting Rangers in evacuating the civilians, providing a defense combat support, and basically beating the crap out of an entire squad of putties who have no idea who this robot is, not having any memory because of putties of a Alpha unit having any combat skills. Now remember, if you watch any of the TV shows with Alpha in it, he's not very good in any sense of the word with combat. Good with technology and understanding technology, but that's beyond it. Now this new Alpha unit just appears out of nowhere, starts beating the crap out of the forces of evil, and they're all going, what the heck's going on here? He also helps the Rangers in giving advice on how to defeat the Stabosaurus Rex. Just scanning it, seeing its body structure, and going, you should use this, this, and this formation to break the skin of the beast. And it basically, they go, well, we can't defeat it, let's just try it. And they do, and it wins the trust of the Power Rangers. who bring him to the command center. At that point, Alpha and Zordon have a long reunion story and start going like, oh, this, I thought you were destroyed. Alpha's going like, I'm happy to see you again, Master. It's been so long. Oh, look, you've got my great 5-generation Alpha Ranger essentially going on here. Now, he says like 3 greats, but we don't actually know if it's like how many generations and how many times Alpha was rebuilt to this. They say Alpha 5, but his body could have been destroyed several different times. So it's really, what does the successor mean? He's basically left to marvel at his Alpha 5's operation units and goes, man, you are like really advanced. Which is, if you think back to like the TV show, he really wasn't, but he was. And he's basically surprised because arguably his head's just basically a glass dome with little robot sparks inside, as you will see in the picture behind you. Now we know that the golden saucer would later replace him as pure metal, but again, it's not meant. Alpha 5's not meant to be a warrior, and this kind of irks Alpha 1. He's going, what are you doing? This is a mistake. Why are you not a warrior? We're combat robots built by the Andalians to help Zordon. You should upgrade. You have all these great features. You could go out there and single-handedly deal with most of these villains without the Rangers at all. But he then accepts his kin as his role as Zordon's guardian and vows that he'd go, you know what, we'll do this. We'll eradicate the force of evil together. Because I understand someone needs to maintain Zordon. He can't be left alone. He's basically just a caretaker at this point. And that's kind of what Zordon needs. So later on, they would basically help him build weapons with Billy to basically exosuit. It wouldn't pass the tests. Like, it passed some tests, but the suit malfunctions and it doesn't go well. And Zordon immediately shuts it down and goes, nope, I'm not using that suit. And Alpha 1 just isn't deterred at first. He goes, well, we'll just fix it, make it work, and maybe Zordon will agree with it. And Billy goes, yeah, sure. But Billy and Zach go, you know what? Even if we do get it fixed, and we fix all the problems, Zordon's not going to let us use it. And the Alpha's like going, what are you talking about? Why wouldn't he help us use it? It's a weapon to defeat the forces of evil. Well, he starts to realize that Zordon's holding back on these Rangers. Why is he doing it? It's like he's afraid that they're going to get hurt. But they're soldiers. What's going on? Well, Zordon has always had this weird thing with the Rangers, and we're going to talk more about that, because when Goldar attacks the U Center to find someone worthy enough to activate the power coin before they had found Tommy, Alpha 1 is ordered by Zordon to stay put. Hey, don't get involved, this is the Rangers can handle situation. But Zack goes, what are you doing? Why are we holding back the big guns? Let's go. Like, again, like, we're not summoning a Megazord, but we're bringing him. He can help us defeat Goldar once for all. So Zordon goes, you know what, fine, okay. Maybe you'll learn something. They defeat all the putties. The robot reveals his true colors by brutally beating the crap out of Goldar from behind, preparing an attack to murder him in cold blood, and basically leaving him defenseless and unable to get away. Because basically he's like blocking his ability to teleport. Goldar just scared shitless. And Alpha 1 reveals his philosophy of going, kill anything that stands in your way without mercy or hesitation, because they're not going to show that to you. Why would you? This is war. This isn't like a kid's game of going, oh, I beat you, next time I'll beat you. It's not like a Yu-Gi-Oh duel, minus the Shadow Realm. But that's his whole philosophy. He's figured this out the entire time, and the Rangers go, no. We're here to fight them and say, like, we're not here to like brutally murder them in cold blood. Because there's a weird thing with Goldar, like they have, like, oh, this doesn't go away. I'm like, oh, whatever. But it doesn't make any sense to Alpha. And he goes, I don't understand, but because we're friends, I won't kill him for you. So he lets him go. But in theory, he doesn't. By in theory, I mean, he lies to them. So he basically goes, you know what, if you're not going to kill him, I'll do it myself. And basically freezes the Rangers in a force field and states that he has no quarrel with them. He's like, I understand you've been trained by Zordon. You're weak humans. You want to use non-lethal methods. That's fine. But guess what? This is war. This is war that's been going 10,000 years. And you know why this has been happening? Because Zordon isn't escalating the fight. He's just letting things out. He's reacting, not being the one who's initiating these fights. And that's caused a lot more destruction and why he's losing the war. He's only reacting to things while he should be basically steering the entire conflict, because if he's not in control of the conflict, that means the forces of evil are winning and basically forcing the conflict constantly. So Zordon contacts him going, "What are you doing? What's going on here?" And this is where Alpha-1 starts explaining what he's been doing the entire 10,000 years. He was like, "I've been traveling the galaxy. I've seen countless battles. I've fought against the force of evil, and I've come to one key idea. Zordon, you're weak. You're not escalating the fight. It's utterly meaningless. Like, if you're not summoning the Zord to crush these villains, I don't understand why that is. You should immediately summon the Zord to slaughter them and continue on, because there's many more to come forth." Now, Zordon starts explaining, like, "Hey, you can't do that. You're becoming the monster that you're fighting, who's willing to sacrifice everything, and like you're losing your honor." And basically it goes back and forth. They start arguing with each other, and Alpha goes like, "You're not meant to like lead these Rangers because you want them to fight this war, but you're basically tying their hand behind their back." So basically comes a battle of philosophy, which eventually goes, "You know what? Screw you, Zordon. You don't know. You've been in your bubble too long to understand what's really going on. You're not in the battlefield anymore." So he eventually takes all these machines, assimilates them and becomes a giant Megazord body, and prepares to attack and destroy the command center, basically removing the Zordon from the equation, believing that he is the reason why all this is going wrong. And once he's done, he'll fulfill his program and bring peace to the universe by any means necessary. Now, he leaves the Rangers in containment, but changes opinion on them and asks them to ponder what he said. He's like, "You know what? I understand you've been brainwashed kind of by Zordon, but this is the correct way to do war." He looks at Zack and Billy, who understand, like, they built weapons together, and he's going like, "This is what we gotta do." But instead, they basically break out of the shield. They're freed by Goldar because of this, as a repayment for saving him, and Warrior's pride, honor of killing himself. Basically, this is a really weird thing where Gordon goes, "You kill him, because I can't deal with this crap." And so they go, "Thanks." And so they get to their Megazords and start fighting Alpha-1. In truth, Gordon chose the smart, calculating decision here, because he goes, "We can't fight that. Like, that's basically another evil out there that's greater than us, and it's beating the crap out of us." So he chooses the correct decision, and this is honorable, but in truth, it's basically, I think Rito would have approved too, and he's going, "Yeah, you could have killed the Rangers, but I don't know if I could have fought that thing." Now, Alpha proved to be a formidable opponent, basically able to calculate and anticipate their moves, because he observed them for like weeks on end. How it goes, he basically counters all their attacks, but is badly crippled after one of his limbs is destroyed. Now, he realizes, because he's kind of holding back too, because these Rangers, they'd be such a great asset. He realizes eventually they're not going to join him, and decides to drop his all mercy towards them and attempts to kill them. Then after he's done with them, he's gonna kill Zordon. Basically, Zordon comes with a plan, gives him instructions to the Rangers, and basically they form Megazord tank mode, which is an unexpected move. And basically, Alpha-5 arrives in Billy's exosuit, rips off the evil Alpha-1's right leg, and reveals that he's just a distraction. The tank mode fires, destroys Alpha-1 in close range, and it's supposed that at this range, Alpha-1's completely destroyed. But it's believed at this point that Alpha-1 lived. He says he's just a shell. He can basically do what he wants. He self-destructs, but he basically can transfer his consciousness into whatever. And it's a robot, true. It's easily done. We've seen that before in upgrades of Alpha and the like. Now, where is he going to come? Is he going to come back in the future? We don't know. But as Zordon says, we're going to be ready if he does show up. I don't know. Is he going to show up? Is he going to be part of the Machine Empire? And I think that'd be very interesting if he did, because he could be King Mundo or Prince Gasket or somebody in the future who's just been corrupted with this constant PTSD of war. And I think that'd be very interesting. But that's a whole theory going on there. Is he going to show up? It makes sense why he doesn't work with Rita and the like, because he goes, you guys are evil. I'm a completely different evil, but I am a necessary evil. So let's see what happens for the future for that. But that is the current story so far for Alpha-1. And I hope you guys like that. Do you guys like Alpha-1? Do you understand his philosophy behind it? I kind of do. I understand right now that reading the comics that Zordon isn't always correct. Yes, sometimes the moral high ground wise, but at the cost of like planets dying, who cares if you're morally correct when you've got entire civilizations being deleted because you refuse to attack first? Because it's honorable. Now, there's a good little thing that I always like to say is like, honor is good and all when out dealing with diplomacy and the like, but on the battlefield, there is no such thing as honor. It's kill or be killed. And in truth, the Rangers have no problem killing these lesser monsters, but when it comes to like the big guys, they like flat out refuse to kill Goldar on multiple different issues. But that's another rant entirely. So, may the power protect you always, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know how you felt about Alpha-1. Do you want to see more of him? Do you want to see more about 2, 3, and 4? What happened to those guys? And how do we get to 5 where he's just a caretaker at this point? I don't know, guys. Thank you very much. You guys have a good one. May the power protect you always once more.